Oh, Blackmagic. We gotta talk, pal, right? It's time for some straight talk. Now, when Blackmagic Pocket 4K, 6K, now 6K Pro were announced, there was a sweet feature of using an SSD, right? And it's great. You get to save money. Samsung gets to make money because they get to sell more of these in the long run. Now, in the minds of a regular consumer, right? Us filmmakers buying cameras, we think like, wow, you know, the limit of my hard drive is the speed, right? The right record speed. You know, we're used to driving on the highway, and if we can't go faster than 40 miles an hour, then sorry, your car is not good enough, your engine is not good enough. For a hard drive, there's an objective measure of speed, write and record speed, right? Which brings me to the point, and that's something I've learned recently, right? And the reason I made that mistake is because my 3.5-year-old SanDisk Extreme Pro records at, if I'm not mistaken, 520 megabytes per second. And it can record 4K DCI in Q0, which is amazing, right? I was able to do short burst clips in 4K 60 on that old hard drive, right? Like it's even older than the Blackmagic Pocket 4K itself, older than the 6K, older than the new cameras, and yet it can record, right? File format, like you format the drive, you select the file format, right? That's not the issue here. And so recently, when Samsung T5 is getting decommissioned, right? There's this new drive, Samsung T7. So I went to a store and I thought, well, what's the big deal? Like it's twice as fast, record and write speed. Well, it turns out that, in fact, it does not record in all the formats that my T5 is recording right now. And I think a lot of people need to know that, you know, because I read comments on the internet that tried to explain, oh, well, it's because the internal brains of the hard drive, and because it's actually dropping the record speed to half, which doesn't actually work, because even if this drive drops the record speed to a half, it means that it's recording at 500 megabytes per second, or roughly thereabouts, which means that, first of all, why would it drop the record speed to a half, right? And even if it does, it will still be able to record 4K Q0. And I wanted to bring a real reason, right, into focus as to why it is happening, right? Like, okay, imagine I am Samsung, right, and I've just introduced my new drive, like Samsung T7, T8, T10, whatever, T20, for all I care, right? And I call up Blackmagic and I say, hey guys, so we got this drive, and like, are you ready to do the support? And then a whole bunch of lawyers comes up and says, wow, like, we gotta milk that shit, right? Like, we gotta have something in return if we were to allow your new product to support our cameras. And I'm pretty sure that's what's going on at the corporate level. The consumers are getting screwed over because older drives get discontinued, right? They're not being available in all the regions, right? Like right now in my region, I can only buy T7. Like, I'd imagine that at some point I'll only be able to buy T8 or T9 or T10 or whatever they come up with, right? But that next model won't be compatible with my camera, right? Which should ideally prone me to select more expensive CFast cards that have less capacity, right? So that's why I think that initial, like, oh, well, save money on SSDs. Yes, in the first few years of when the camera is announced and released, you're going to have a lot of SSDs. But guess what? As time goes on, those SSDs, they're going to start to fail, right? And the Blackmagic will have an option as to whether update the existing SSD compatibility, right? But from the history of Blackmagic updating, or generally cameras updating their supported SSDs, I don't really believe in that. The reason I don't is because my older BMCC cameras actually don't support modern SSDs. You know, that's why I had to go out and buy a Lexar SSD instead of the Kingston or whatever SSD that was recommended, right? Because those SSDs are no longer produced, and the Lexar records for 5 minutes, about 5 minutes, you know, and then it stops. Like I have to acknowledge, like I have to put a timer on when I'm using my older BMCC camera, right? Or I could go on eBay, you know, and play a roulette trying to buy it without a warranty or nothing, right? Like, and if you're living in Los Angeles or New York or you know, Sydney or somewhere, maybe you'll be able to buy it new. But I currently don't live in a big city, right? So my city stocks up on something that's brand new and contemporary, right? They're not gonna hold a stock of older drives, of older like camera accessories. So this is becoming a problem that Blackmagic has to fix somehow. I can record, look, okay, for the record, I can record in 4K B-RAW Q0 unlimited time. I can record in 1080p in every mode unlimited time. I can record in 2.8K Q5, sorry. I cannot record in Q0 with this drive. Even though it is twice as fast, it's just as capable as a T5. I cannot record it because of some internal block mechanism that doesn't let it read or think, you know, that I'm pretty sure is easy to fix, right? But the thing with the drive, right, like I bought the drive and I can't return it, right? Like I called the store and they said, well, sorry, like we have a non-return policy, and because you've opened up the drive, you know, you've used it, you've formatted the drive, so we have in our policy that you can't return it. And I just think that it's something that has to be addressed, that has to be like brought up to attention, because, you know, it's going to be a problem in the long run with these cameras. So, you know, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope this has been helpful for anyone who's looking for a drive or looking to pick a drive with their Blackmagic. Just make sure that you can test it somehow. Like, make sure that you go on Reddit or somewhere and you really like make sure that it reads in all the formats that you need it to be read. You know, like I'm still gonna use my T7 as an editing drive, you know, and as just you know, sometimes when I don't need to shoot Q0, I'll definitely pop it on and, you know, use it as my backup option. But just like anyone looking to buy brand new Samsung drives or drives that come up and people get excited, like, oh wow, that's like 4 terabyte drive, you know, like I could record for like a week nonstop, you know, like, slow down, cowboy. It ain't that easy with these corporate shenanigans. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.